Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I made these cute 4th of July earrings yesterday, and I'm excited to share the video with you. In the video, I'll show you how I designed them in Cricut Design Space, and then I cut them on my Cricut Maker. Now, if you find anything in the video helpful, inspiring, or you just enjoy watching it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I'll be working on in the future, hit that subscribe button. Now, on to the video. With the 4th of July coming up, I wanted to make some new earrings, and I'm just going to start with a basic teardrop shape. So I've gone back to my old projects. I'm going to select this one. So I'll go ahead and open that, and since I'm going to change it, I need to click on Customize. I really just want to work with one of these earrings, so I'll go ahead and delete the other one. And then I'm going to use white leather. So I'll go ahead and change the color to white just so that I really see what my earring's going to look like. Now let's go ahead and blow this up some so we see the details. I'm going to use white leather, but you could use white leather, white faux leather, a white vinyl. You could even stiffen some white fabric and use a white fabric for your background. Now the first thing I'm going to do is add a star. And so I go to Shapes, click on this star, and I'm just going to change the size to what I think looks good. I can always change it. And then let's go ahead and change that to blue. I'm going to cut my star out of some heat transfer vinyl. Okay, I think I like the size of that. What I don't like though is how close this point is to the side, and these points are so far away. So I'm going to go ahead and select my star and then drag this to rotate it. I can drag the star to the side so that I can see if they are evenly spaced or if the points are about the same distance from the side. It's close, but I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. Okay, I like that. So that's the rotation of it, but I'll go ahead and move it back over. I don't want it to be in the middle. I really want it to be offset a ways. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to add some stripes. So I'll go back to Shapes, click on Square. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it so that I can change the proportions, and I can make it a rectangle or a stripe in this case. Just a really skinny rectangle. Okay, I think that looks pretty good, so let me lock this back, and then I will change this to red. I want 4 stripes, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it 3 times, and then I'll select all 4 of the stripes, and just to make it easier to work with, I'll align the bottoms. Now you can see those stripes are way too far apart, so I'll just drag each one over to about where I think it should be. It doesn't need to be perfect because Cricut Design Space has something to make it perfect. Notice this white space is narrower than this. Looks like this is a little narrower than the center also. I'll select all 4 stripes, then align, and I'm going to distribute horizontally. So when I click on this, watch these move around so that they're evenly spaced. Ready? And there you go. Now if I knew these were exactly spaced the way I want them, I'd go ahead and weld them, but for now I'm just going to click Attach. That way I can modify them. All right, let's move them up, and then I'm going to tilt them. I'll tilt them a little bit more, just like I did with the blue star. I want the red stripes to be spaced about evenly from this point to the stripe and this point to the stripe. So I can see I need to rotate it just a little more. Okay, I think that looks good. Let me push them up to the star. Actually, just a tiny bit more. There we go. Now I like that, but I want to make my star, well, let's select the star over here. That'll make it easier. I want to make the star just a little smaller. Darn it. Okay. A little smaller, move them up a little bit. Then my stripes, I can make them a little larger. Gives me more room to have more red. I like that. So we're going to go with that. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to trim these red stripes at the edge of the teardrop. Now, if you can hear pounding, my husband is working on his car in the garage below me. So I'm going to duplicate this white teardrop because when I do the next step, it's going to destroy this teardrop. So I need to have a spare. I also want to go ahead and hide the star just to make it easier. Now we're going to use the slice function, but I can't use it yet. Let me show you. It's not darkened, so it's not available. And that's because my stripes haven't been welded. You can only slice two things together at one time. So let's go ahead and select, well, now I got to get them back in place. Okay, let's select the stripes, and you can see that's what's selected, and then weld. Now, hide the star again. I'll select the stripes and the teardrop, and I'll click slice. And whatever's on top is going to act like a cookie cutter. So my red stripes are going to be somewhat of a cookie cutter onto the white. So let's click slice. Now I can get rid of the excess red stripes. And then if I hide the red stripes I'm leaving, you'll see what's left is a bunch of cut marks. And so if I click over here on that and delete it, you see this won't work. That's why I had to duplicate it, because I could not get anything to stick here because there'd be no leather there. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Bring back my stripes, bring back my star. Move my earring back into place. And then my star needs to be brought to the front. So arrange, send to front, and there you go. There's my earring. Now, if you wanted the Cricut to cut your hole for you, the next thing you do is you'd click Shapes, Circle, make your circle the size you want it. I like, oh, there it is. I like 0.08. You would place it on the white earring where you want it. Then you would select the circle, and holding down the command, I can also select the teardrop, click slice. Now I can get rid of the circle, the slice result, send this white to the back, and you see everything. But I like to cut my own holes. I punch them with a tool, so let's just click back, back, back. I want my second earring to be a mirror image of this so that the star is on the opposite side. So I click duplicate, and then I click on flip, flip horizontal, and there you go. So now I can either have the star toward the middle of my face or my chin, or I could, whoops, or I could put the earrings on to where the stripes are closer to my face, however I want to wear them. So it is time to start cutting. I'll click on Make It. I'll have 3 cut layers. I'll have my leather layer. I'll have my red HTV layer. and I'll have my blue HTV layer. I'll start with my leather, click continue. Actually, let me move my leather down a little bit, or my earrings down. I want to be able to place my leather 2 inches down, 2 inches over. That gives me room around it to put some tape, which I like to do just for insurance. Now I can click continue, browse all materials, and then I'm looking for the genuine leather setting. There it is. Click done, and I'm ready to turn my camera around to show you the cut. When it's time to cut the red and the blue layer, I'm going to have to change the setting to, I'll use everyday iron-on, because a leather setting on these would just be too much pressure. I have my leather pretty side down against my mat. Actually, I have it against contact paper. I put some contact paper under where the leather is, sticky side up, and now I'm just going to put a little bit of tape around the leather to hold it down. I use this super hold tape. And I don't want any tape where the blade is going to cut. I made that mistake before and it makes it kind of pop or hop. It doesn't turn out really well. And then before I send this to the maker, I just want to press it down really hard with my brayer. I made sure that I had my deep point blade in and I cleaned it, so we'll go ahead and load the material. Now the Cricut light's flashing and we're ready to cut. All right, let's see what we have. Super. Those cut out really nicely. Then to pull my leather up, I just kind of tilt my mat down or tilt it back, and the top of this will kind of pop off, and then you can grab it without having to use your nail. Okay, we'll set that aside. Those cut very, very nicely. Now let's do some heat transfer vinyl. Now this says it's a strong grip mat, but it is so old that it really is not strong grip anymore, so I'll use it. I'm going to use this Caesar. It's a stretch vinyl. It doesn't need to be stretched, but that's what I have. And so that's what I'll use for my red stripes. I think I can get by just trimming this down and using this piece. Now, the shiny side is the carrier sheet, and so that needs to go down against the mat. I need to go back to my computer and change the cut setting because my setting was on leather, and now I'm doing heat transfer vinyl. I'm just going to say everyday iron-on, and it prompts me to change my blade. So here's my fine point blade. I'll go ahead and pop that in place of the deep point blade. And we are good to go. Okay, that's fine. I like to turn my mat over and pull it off what I'm cutting. And then the last thing, this is also a Caesar Easy Stretch. This is for my star. I don't need to change the setting since I'm still using the same material. Then I'll go ahead and weed the excess vinyl off. You just poke your little weeding tool in and pull up. And let's go ahead and cut those apart. Okay, we'll weed our little stripes out. And we'll go ahead and get those cut out or separated. Okay, I have my little Easy Press Mini set on low, and then I have my pressing pad here, a Teflon sheet just to protect my leather, and then my earrings. So let's get them set up. And I'd like to press both layers of the leather at one time. So I'm just going to trim the extra transfer sheet off the top of this one. Okay, that looks good. Go ahead and get the other one done. And just take your time getting it set in place so that you get it right. Okay, I think I've changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and set the stripes first because they don't want to stay stuck down. And I'm just going to do them for about 10 seconds. They'll get pressed again when I press my star. And I didn't even count, so we'll just see if it stays down for now. Great. Now get this one back in place. Okay, so now the stars. And I want to cut off the excess transfer sheet where it's going to be down by my stripes. I don't want them overlapping. I don't know if it would cause a problem. I don't think it would, but I'd rather be safe. Okay, that looks great. So most of the time I'm just going to stay on the star, not the star and the stripes. I was on the stripe just for a second there. We'll see if the star stays on. It does. Then once I get this transfer sheet or the carrier sheet pulled off, I'm going to do just about 5 more seconds pressing down firmly. Those are so cute. I got this leather punch tool at Harbor Freight super inexpensively. Right now I have it on the smallest hole setting. And so I'm just going to put that where I think the hole should go, just barely pressing so that the leather doesn't shift. And I'll show you what that looks like. And then you just press through it. Now the goal is that I get the hole close enough to the top that I don't have to use a jump ring. I can just put the earrings directly onto my fishhook. And I think I accomplished that. I'm going to use silver. I think that's very complementary to white leather. And you've seen me do this, or other people do this probably a million times, so I'm just going to quickly go through it. You find where the gap is, and then hold on to the side where the gap is with some needle nose pliers. Twist it. Now my earring needs to end up like this, so I flip it over, put it on, and then I just need to twist my loop back. And there we go. Let me twist that a little further. It looks a little crooked. And then it's not quite closed up. There's a slight gap. So very gently, I'm going to close it up. You don't want to press real hard because you will change the shape of your little circle. Now I like to clean up the edges of the leather. These really aren't bad, but there's a few frays. And so what I do is I take a really good pair of scissors. I bought these, now I can't remember if it was just this last Christmas. Time's been so crazy lately. I think it was this last Christmas at Joann's for half price. And add an angle, because you don't want to accidentally cut through the front. Add an angle. I just trim those off. Some people use a product that they put on the frays to kind of settle them down, and I guess kind of glues them down to the side of the earring. I just prefer to do it this way, but honestly, do it however you like to. So I'm going to clean these up the rest of the way, and then I'll show you the final product at the end.